The original Star Wars trilogy was the blueprint for every science fiction franchise that released in the years that followed, all the way to the present day. A simple story of good versus evil with interesting characters, superb visual effects, and a wonderful story. The prequel trilogy that started in '99 with The Phantom Menace was poorly received, but when Darth Sidious executed Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, it would change everything. The Empire changed the game for the future of the galaxy, turning the clones against the Jedi and decimating the one thing that protected the lives of those that needed help against the evil forces of Darth Sidious and the Sith. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order fits in nicely sometime after Order 66 happened, and follows Cal Kestis as he begins to regain the power of the Force and stop a new evil within the Empire. It's a solid story featuring a nice mix of characters that all have a role to play within your journey to recover a Jedi holocron that holds the secrets to bringing back a new age of Jedi. The plan is to stop the Sith once and for all. And Cal Kestis is a likeable guy. He's a man burdened with secrets from his past. The opening mission that acts as the tutorial brings you into Respawn's vision of Star Wars perfectly. The remnants of those that fought in the Clone Wars and the devastation the Empire caused are highlighted on the planet of Bracca by the junkyard Cal is working in. And the second sister, the game's main antagonist, shows just how much of a problem she's going to be for you. You get to grips with the controls pretty fast, and the platforming is shown off by jumping around the scrapyard and climbing up a cargo train under attack. The bulk of Fallen Order sees you travelling between a handful of planets, completing story objectives, unlocking new areas, finding parts for your lightsaber, new ponchos for Cal, decals for your ship, and new skins for BD-1. You start off with a few abilities because you're a Padawan, and the more you fight, the more skill points you get to unlock other abilities or upgrades. You'll also unlock new moves as the story progresses, such as wall running or force push, among others. The Metroidvania elements open up as you unlock new powers, and you can travel between any of the planets you want, meaning you don't have to follow the path that the story is taking you on. It works similarly to The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, really, and you never feel like you're restricted. The planets are big, and while they aren't specifically open world, there's plenty to explore. Dathomir is a sinister planet with spider-like creatures that spit acid at you, and a race of mythical warriors and undead beings. Kashyyyk, the home of the Wookiees, is a beautifully lush planet filled with forests, but there are lots of fauna that can prove deadly, though you can use these plants to your advantage. There are 4 difficulty levels to choose from as well, ranging from Story, where enemies do less damage to you and it isn't very challenging, to Grand Master, which seriously pushes you to your limit. Respawn has found a way to give every kind of player the type of experience they want, meaning if you want a Sekiro-style challenge, that's a choice here. As you progress, the amount of enemies increase and the fights become overwhelming. You've always got the option to switch difficulties, so if you're struggling to take down 10 stormtroopers, a few purge troopers and some security droids, switch it up to give yourself a bit of a break. Fallen Order throws a lot of combat at you with copious amounts of creatures and Empire soldiers, as well as bosses that really do feel like something out of a FromSoft game. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order uses a parry and block system to help you get the better of an enemy, and capitalising on their mistakes means you can land a devastating strike that will make them suffer. Combat is a glorious combination of using your lightsaber and your powers to take out huge groups or a singular enemy. You can also pull floating droids towards you, then push them into a large group so they explode. Or maybe you want to throw your lightsaber at a stormtrooper who's using a ranged weapon, while fighting off a couple of scout troopers harassing you with their electrified staffs. Outside of the combat, the platforming is mostly rewarding, even if the constant climbing gradually becomes a bit frustrating. There are moments where it emulates the Uncharted series feeling of, I've reached my destination. Oh wait, I've fallen 300 feet, so I have to climb up all over again. Those sections. It does that one time too many, and it's not fun having to do that all over again. If you do fall off a cliff or mistime a swing on a vine, the game drops you in quickly to the platform you fell from, and that's great, but dying from a fight means a load screen that seems to take longer than it should. Meditation points are found throughout the game, much like bonfires in Dark Souls, and it's here you can save your game or spend your skill points to unlock a new lightsaber ability, improve health, or fine-tune your grasp on the Force. Perhaps the coolest part of the game, though, is your little companion, BD-1. He's a droid that helps you throughout the game, and much like the powers you unlock through flashbacks of when you were a young apprentice, BD-1 will receive upgrades in much the same way, except Cal will fix him up to do new and useful things. Much like R2-D2 and BB-8, although not C-3PO because he's an idiot, you'll feel a great connection to him and genuinely care for his safety if things get a little heated. He really is an integral part of your adventure. By pressing the touchpad on a PS4, each planet's map will pop up, and the more BD1 scans, the more you'll uncover. He'll start to beep and whistle whenever something of interest appears, and after you've defeated an enemy, he can scan their corpse to give you clues as to how you can defeat them better the next time you encounter them. There's a lot of text that brings Respawn's Star Wars world alive, and as good as it is, the need to constantly stop to scan something does become a bit laborious. You don't have to scan everything, but if you want to find every secret, chest or new area, it is a bit of a must. BD1 will also give you health stims that act as health packs, and these are restocked when you meditate, but meditation also respawns the enemies. Unfortunately, at the time of reviewing, there are few too many technical issues to ignore. I had enemies disappear into the ground or float in the air, the game has Unreal Engine pop-in, and the frame rate is unstable during larger fights. Sure, none of these things are game-breaking, and we're told that patches are imminent, but I wanted to make sure that you're aware of it going in. And I still enjoyed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order a great deal though. The visuals and animations are stunning with some great environmental effects and fluid combat that seamlessly transitions as you mix up your attack patterns. The music is magnificent and there's some great surprises, including one that took my breath away. It may not be the Star Wars game you were expecting, and it's actually not a particularly long game, but it still has plenty of things to love. Fallen Order has some remarkable combat with a decent story that feels a bit more like Rogue One than one of the main episodes. The ending was a bit of a letdown, but the challenges you'll face, particularly on a higher difficulty, and the amount of exploration to be done, make it a game you should certainly play if you're a fan of Star Wars, the genre, or both.